wonderful day. Wow, yes, another wonderful day is upon us. And it's a beautiful, a beautiful Tuesday morning. And I welcome you to another time with your favorite radio station, Splash 105.5 FM. We're reaching you live from the big barrow city called Ibadan, the capital of Oyo State. Today is a beautiful day. And I hope you had a restful night, wherever it is you're listening to me from. Let's pray it's going to be a better day than yesterday. Today is the 14th day in September 2021. And of course, it is time for Straight from the Dailies on Splash 105.5 FM. I'm your host this morning. I'm Ronke Giwa Onofua. Welcome once again. And thank you very much for joining us. For those who have already joined us on Facebook, we see you. We appreciate you and we thank you very much. Thank you so much. And I hope you stay tuned. We're doing what we call Straight from the Dailies, where we'll be looking at the stories making headlines in Nigerian newspapers. I'd love you to leave your comment right underneath this video. Yes, just right underneath this video. Leave your comments, leave your contributions. We're going through the newspapers. I'm sure you'll be interested in what the newspapers have to say this morning. Don't just leave a comment, like the video, and also share to your community. The share button is just right underneath this video as well. Please share to your community so they can also be a part of what we're about to do. So welcome, Facebook. Welcome to you. Thank you very much for turning on your radio and tuning to Splash 105.5 FM. All right, Plato's joined me this morning. Good morning, Plato.
Good morning, Ronnie. Good morning, Nigeria.
Good to have you back today.
It's a pleasure.
All right, so let's, I think the weather report is up. Let's take the weather report real quickly. It's always important to know, what the weather report says, because then you can dress appropriately. Just plan your day, if you know what I mean. So Blessing Agbeton's got the weather report for us, and then we'll be right back to kick off Straight from the Dailies. Don't go away.
Hello and thank you so much for joining us today. It's another beautiful Tuesday, the 14th day in the month of September 2021, and it is time to bring to you what the weather has in store for today. To start with Ibadan, the capital city will be cloudy with showers and thunderstorms, with the temperature at 28 degrees Celsius high. Abeokuta today will be cloudy with the temperature at 29 degrees Celsius high. Lagos will experience thunderstorms with the temperature at 27 degrees Celsius high. Away from that, now to Ado-Ekiti. The capital city will be cloudy with a thunderstorm with temperature at 28 degrees Celsius high. Osogbo will be cloudy with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm later, with the temperature at 28 degrees Celsius high. To wrap up on today's edition of the weather forecast, Akure will be cloudy with a heavy thunderstorm with the temperature at 28 degrees Celsius high. And that will be all on today's weather forecast for major cities in southwestern Nigeria, as brought to you by Splash 105.5 FM. Please do remember to put the weather forecast into consideration as you plan your journey and outings for today. I am Blessing Agbeton. Thank you for listening.
Welcome back. Thank you very much for staying tuned on Splash 105.5 FM. It's a beautiful Tuesday morning. I'm your host, Ronke Giwa Onofua. All right, let's go through some of the headlines real quickly. And then, of course, we'll take some details to some of these stories. 4 million persons have received COVID-19 vaccine, federal government says. Also in the papers, federal government unfolds plan for National Youth Conference in October. I'll also find the papers academic activities may be disrupted as ASU threatens to down tools. Of course, we'll be back to that because this is something that often gives us anxiety. Strike is, a word that in itself causes panic in this country, but it's become such a powerful tool. All right, also in the papers this morning, APC scheduled state congresses for October 2nd. Akintoye's group wants world leaders to declare Miyetti Allah terrorist group. We'll be back to that. Let's take a few more headlines in the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Makinde's presidential advert fake, says aide. This is the Chief Press Secretary to Governor Sheyi Makinde of Oyo State, who said the advertisement in circulation linking his boss to 2023 presidential ambition is fake. All right. Also in the papers this morning, we'll see quite a few other interesting news stories here. COVID-19, Nigeria expects 52 million doses of vaccine in 2022. That's still in the papers this morning. Assailants killed 12, injured 2 in Kaduna community. This is also in the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Federal government urged to check obsolete practices in health sector by reviewing its curriculum. That's in the papers as well. All right, let's move to take more headlines from the Tribune newspaper this morning. We have quite a few other interesting news stories in the Tribune newspaper. Let me get this real quickly. All right, compare Nigeria with India, China on traditional medicine. This is Iwu. This is also in the Tribune newspaper this morning. Federal government working on herbal pharmacopoeia in traditional medicine. Also find in the papers, let me race through some more headlines from the Punch newspaper this time around. Military onslaught in Zamfara. Dislodged bandits flee southwards. Gunmen strike in Kogi, Kaduna, Ekiti. This is from the Punch newspaper. VAT judgment, FIRS may lose 92 billion revenue to states. This is also from the Punch newspaper. Killings, Nigeria now a graveyard, says Southwest PDP. This story says the People's Democratic Party in the Southwest on Monday called on the President Muhammadu Buhari, to resign from office following alleged inability to stem the tide of killings across the country. The publicity secretary of the PDP in the region, Sonia Atofarati, lamented that the killers were now turning the heat on the military and security agencies, leaving citizens helpless and hopeless. He advised the federal government to seek foreign help on insecurity in the interest of peace and socio-economic development of the country. He said it is gross incompetence on the part of the Buhari-led All Progressives Congress federal government that Nigeria has become a graveyard. What are your thoughts on this, Plateau? I mean, of course, anything that comes from the PDP at this time, people often think it's just, what do they call them now? It's just the opposition speaking, but considering Nigeria a graveyard, what are your thoughts on this?
If I would take the PDP seriously, then apparently those who actually made the inscription of that place a graveyard would definitely go to the PDP. Wow. Because you begin to ask yourself, insecurity is not something that just happens like that. The 16 years of the PDP, what did they do to, not to create this situation? We know that the whole cases of banditry, piracy in the Niger Delta and the whole lot were things, that the background for it was created under the PDP. And of course, as I always say, the APC came and of course to accentuated, those issues. So the PDP should know that they have no moral ground to say this. As I say that even if the fox's mouth is bleeding, it is not for the cockerel to say that, and that's a fact, because the PDP is, they are also culpable in this. But away from the message, let's look at the message.
Exactly.
And the fact remains that it is not also far from the truth that the issue of insecurity in Nigeria is getting worsened with every passing day. Yes, maybe give it to this administration that they're doing their best, or their, what they will consider their best, but that best has not been yielding, enough results. Yes, thank God we are seeing the onslaught in Zamfara, in Katsina, as we have it at the moment, but then beyond that, we want to see more. Nigerians want to see more. This administration was able to create this menace because of its lackluster attitude. When people, when these old shouts about the criminality of certain herdsmen was going on, rather than come out to condemn the activities of these herdsmen, these criminal herdsmen, this administration was rather trying to, rationalize and even make justifications for, or even sometimes, or most times, keeping quiet about the issue. And what that eventually did was to embolden these criminal elements who have now not just only come, who have now it's become a transnational criminal syndicate now, and that's all we have at the moment. Right. And interestingly, like I said also last week, a lot of other people are also joining the fray. And that's a schoolmate of mine was kidnapped last week, and just in Ondo State, Idoani Oka, Idoani Axis, and when she tried recording, the conversation there, it was obvious that these guys were obviously of a different ethnic stock. And as soon as I edit, I told them on the platform that well, I think this is clear. We know this, and
so it's not like some people are just thinking, is this just some tribalistic people who feel, everything now you are pointing to the north and you're pointing accusing fingers to.
A lot of other tribes are also joining the fray. A lot of other people are joining the fray because now it is like, there is a loophole, and I remember that I said this year 2016 that this administration has to be careful not to be fighting at too many fronts. Any army that finds itself fighting at too many fronts is going to be overwhelmed. Now we have piracy in the Niger Delta is there. Now banditry is everywhere. I don't even want to call it. I think it's an anomaly to call it banditry. Terrorism is everywhere across the country. The Boko Haram insurgents are also, dealing their blows in the northeast. And you begin to, and of course, there are also other criminal elements. Armed robbery is still there, and we are overstretching, the bands of our military, and it's quite overwhelming. It's quite overwhelming, and we could have prevented this.
Absolutely, and the fact that they are attacking. I mean, the NDA was attacked. It really is something to be worried about. I mean, now governors are asking their people to defend themselves. Here, Katsina State Governor Aminu Bello Masari recently called on residents of the state to defend themselves following massive cases of abductions and killings by terrorists. It was a clear call on citizens to take up arms and fight back the rampaging bandits. He was not alone. Other prominent citizens had previously made similar call. The governors of Benue and Taraba State, Samuel Otom and Darius Ishaku, respectively, had made similar calls after security agencies failed to protect their states from the marauding militias that have been maiming, destroying farms, burning houses, kidnapping for ransom, and raping. Similarly, the Minister of Defense, retired Major General Bashir Magashi, had early this year told Nigerians to rise and defend themselves. Recall also that a former Chief of Army Staff and Defense Minister, Theophilus Danjuma, was the first among leaders to make the call in 2018. I mean, isn't this unfair? I mean, are people armed? How do people defend themselves against these people?
Exactly, because the question is, if you say that I should defend myself, and then you have ramped up the arms that we have, because that was exactly what happened when the police said, okay, those with firearms should return, even with licensed firearms should return. And you're not saying I should defend myself. Now, let's get this clearly too, that one thing is clear, that it's easier for bandits or these terrorists to get arms. In fact, getting arms in the north now is easier than getting food. And that's to tell you of how almost commonplace it is becoming. So if they are saying that, maybe it's also on the heels of the fact that these persons in government know that firearms are commonplace. And that people can get it. But then we should also look at it this way, that if you want people to defend themselves, you don't expect people to defend themselves with cutlasses.
Exactly.
And O's and spears, arrows, against people with, AK-47, and the likes. So we must begin to look at it. If we want, maybe again, it brings us back to the discussion we once used to have in this country, that every Nigerian should be subjected, particularly every educated Nigerian, should be subjected to a 1 year. The NYSC should be turned to a military service scheme. Well, however bad it may seem, maybe that, brings us back to that discussion. That beyond the whole paramilitary, yes, it's good, we're doing the paramilitary, and of course, how many people even engage in such paramilitary activities. But we may begin to look at, turning it to a military scheme where every Nigerian is, trying to. Then we may begin to also look at our firearms, policy. Now, are we going to make firearms commonplace? Right. Is it going to be easily accessible? Oh, if we are afraid of the American situation, then what are we putting in place? Because let's come to terms with this. The military at the moment is overwhelmed.
It's overwhelmed. All right. So
and we don't let us even go to the police.
All right. So if you're watching us on Facebook, tell us, what do you think about that? Do you think that indeed NYC, the one-year composer NYC, should become a place where young people can be equipped to fight for Nigeria? Would you fight for Nigeria as a young person out there? And people are busy trying to leave the country. And I think more people would take the option of leaving than staying to fight for this country. But it's really sad. When we come back from this break, Akintoye's group wants world leaders to declare Miyetti Allah terrorist group. We're talking a lot about insecurity today. Insecurity affects you, affects me. We cannot pretend that it's not happening. If our backyard is burning, then we've got to definitely wake up and pay attention. It's still straight from the dailies. When we come back, I'll be reading some of your comments. So go to Facebook real quickly and leave a comment right under this video after you use the share button to share to your community. We'll be right back after this. Don't go away.
Ìyá Olóúnjẹ, ṣé ló ń ṣe mí bí ìgbà tí ara mi ń gbóná? Ó dá mi lójú wípé ibà màléríà ni yóò jẹ́.
Ìyá Túnjí, a gbọ́dọ̀ ṣàyẹ̀wò nílé ìwòsàn láti rí àrídájú wípé ibà màléríà ń gangan ni.
Bí ìgbà tí èèyàn fi àkókò ṣòfò lè mí ka àyẹ̀wò ṣíṣe sí jàre.
Ó yá ẹ dìde, ẹ jẹ́ kí n sáré wọ̀nyí.
Irú wíwọ̀n wo nù? Èmi lérò bíi pé wọ́n kàn fojú wọn kàn fi wọ̀nyí ni. Wọ́n wá gbé aṣọ náà kalẹ̀ tán báyìí. Yóò wá ṣe rẹ́gí lára yín ni.
Ibo wọ́n ti tún ṣe irú ẹ̀.
Àwọn kan tí wọ́n gbà yìí pé àwọn ti ní ibà màléríà láì ṣe yí pé wọ́n débì kankan lọ ṣàyẹ̀wò.
Àǹtí ránṣọ ó yá ẹ wá wọ̀n mí ní pápá kí ni ẹ lọ ṣe àyẹ̀wò ibà ní kíákíá.
Èyí kọ́gbọ́n o, ṣe bó ti yẹ.
Ara gbígbóná a máa yíwọ́ o bí ènìyàn bá tètè mójútó ní kíákíá, pàápàá jùlọ fún ọmọdé tí ọjọ́ orí rẹ̀ kò tí ì kọjá ọmọ ọdún 5 lọ. Ẹ jẹ́ kí a kọ́kọ́ ṣe àyẹ̀wò fún ibà náà kí a sì rí dájú wípé a lo oògùn wa tán pátápátá fún ìtọ́jú tó péye.
Ìkéde yìí wá láti ọ̀dọ̀ ìjọba àpapọ̀ tó ń mójútó ọ̀rọ̀ ìlera àti àwọn èèyàn Amẹ́ríkà.
These banks are incredible. They want to know everything. Very soon they will ask me what I ate last night, if it was nkwobi or ewedu, and if I pushed it down with 2 cups of palm wine.
Did you?
Of course! Not.
So why are you complaining about your bank this early morning?
They just called me asking for my card number. I gave them.
Not be juju be that.
They asked for my CVV. You know that number behind my card?
Yes.
I gave them. Why are you saying ha like this?
You know me.
Banks don't ask, so don't tell. Never share your PIN, BVN, CVV, or OTP with anyone, even if they claim to be from your bank. Beware. As an Access Bank customer, call 01-271-2005 or send an email to contactcenter@accessbankplc.com to report any suspicious phone call, email, or text message. If your phone is lost or stolen, dial *901 *911# from any phone to deactivate your USSD profile and prevent fraud on your account.
I'm just joking though. Me will be sharp guy.
Access, more than banking.
Have you seen Captain Mama, protector of the Ayo family? She's making our golden one in the kitchen.
Ta-da! Breakfast is ready!
Mommy, why are you always excited when we have golden morn?
Because it helps me nourish you. You know it contains
iron and vitamin C.
Yes, it does.
Enjoy Golden Morn with your family every day. It contains iron and vitamin C to nourish you day by day. Golden Morn, make every day amazing.
Oh boy, OneXBet they make betting easier with their app for Android and iPhone users. You fit find games without any wahala, even play virtuals and bet without stress. Everything they go sharp on this OneXBet app. You fit download this OneXBet app for our website onexbet.ng and use promo code NG21 if na the first time you dey create account. OneXBet, bet day for every taste.
Kids, Indomie welcomes you back to school. Have a session filled with lots of fun and excitement. Stay safe, stay healthy. Indomie noodles, tasty nutrition, good for you.